Coming up on this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society, if a game is delayed but no one is around to see it or hear it, was it ever actually delayed? It's dangerous to go alone, so the Nintendo Cartridge Society goes with you. Welcome to Nintendo Cartridge Society. My name is Patrick Ellers, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Mark Mitchell. We've got a good show for you today. We're going to be talking about the news from the week, including the NPD report for October. And then on Thursday, we are doing Nintendo Family seating charts for Thanksgiving this year. But Mark, in the meantime, how you doing?
I'm doing great. My husband and I have been watching the new Supermarket Sweep on ABC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's really funny to me because the theme song that they used for the show for like all the intros and outros is Push It by Salt and Peppa.
Wow.
Yeah. It's just funny to be on the side of being old where you're like, oh,
Yes.
these things that used to be like of the
Cool.
moment
Right.
and like kind of risque are now used on like the most inoffensive game show possible.
The thing that's so weird because like it like Supermarket Sweep is such a like old, like it's a throwback style of show, and obviously Push It is also like a throwback, but they're not throwbacks from the same era.
or same tone really, but yeah, but I admire it. I admire the usage of it.
I mean, you gotta, right? You gotta give it up. You gotta show respect. Are you enjoying Supermarket Sweep?
Yeah, I loved it as a kid, and I enjoy it now. I mean, there's something just really funny, but also extremely satisfying about like everybody in the world's ability to recognize certain brands. Where you're just like,
I know. God, it's so sad. Where it's like, okay, the common knowledge base that we're all gonna draw from is the stuff we buy. Like
Yeah.
this is late stage capitalism.
It's like
Now, quick,
everybody sees
now,
like
quick, let's do our Nintendo podcast.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, totally. Everybody sees a yellow circle or like an orange circle and immediately are like, Tide, it's Tide detergent. I would know it anywhere.
Yeah. I would recognize it like the faces of my children. Mark, here's something else that you can be irrationally in love with. My copy of Sonic Forces. Would you like to borrow it? You can. All you gotta do is email us at Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com. And give us a mailing address so we can send you my copy. By the way, just so you know, out there in the mix, Untitled Goose Game. You might accidentally get it. We have no way of controlling who does and does not get Untitled Goose Game instead of my copy of Sonic Forces. Either way, you have to send it back when you're done with it. And if you really wanted the goose and you get the Sonic, I'm sorry. If you really wanted the Sonic and you got the goose, I am sorry for that as well. That's the way the program works.
It's like Cap'n Crunch, Oops All Berries, except the oops is deliberate.
Right. And either way, you've got no control over it. Oh, you know, I suspect that the Oops All Berries was something they did on purpose. I don't think that's truly a mistake.
Well, I mean, we don't really have any proof, but I suspect you might be right. Hopefully it comes up on Supermarket Sweep and we can know for sure.
Oh my gosh. Okay, we've got an email from Brian here that I would like to read before we get into the rest of the show. Brian writes, "Thank you guys so much for producing quality content in these hectic times. Your episodes make the week that much easier to get through." Brian, you are welcome. And I agree. It makes it easier for me to get through as well. I really enjoyed the episode on Nintendo's next-gen features. One of my favorites that didn't make your list, however, are wireless controllers. The Wavebird for the GameCube was the only first-party wireless controller on the market for a long time and put those Mad Catz ones to shame. I also like the idea of asymmetrical gaming on the Wii U. It was horribly underutilized, but it had massive potential as displayed in the Mario Chase and Luigi's Mansion minigames from Nintendo Land. Keep up the great work. Wavebird controllers, like 100% a game changer. And I think the reason I didn't bring it up, because I thought about it, was that it is a mid-generation change.
I think it is a great feature. Also, I love, Brian, that you called out the Mario Chase and the Luigi's Mansion game from Nintendo Land, because those I think are the best examples of asymmetric gameplay on the Wii U. They are so much fun, and I don't think they were ever topped.
Yeah, I mean, almost certainly not. The only other thing that, and it's not even asymmetrical gameplay, but the gamepad functionality in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, I still think that is the like best way to play that game is on the Wii U. Really using that second screen in a good just a good way. Mark, it was just good. Did you ever play New Super Mario Brothers U on the Wii U where someone was doing the like making the platforms?
No, I
Because
don't
like
think
one
so.
player could just make platforms for everyone else to jump on.
That's fun, but no, I don't think I ever did play that way.
I don't think I ever did either. I own it. We could be doing it right now. I mean, we couldn't because we can't be in the same room. In any event, we also have thank you, Brian, for writing in. Great points, and yeah, the Wavebird, such a great controller. I feel like for a long time was like indisputably the best video game controller,
For
right?
sure. Yeah, I remember we had one Wavebird controller, and I remember like fighting over who would get to use it because it was
Yeah.
100% like the premium controller.
Not only is it a good wireless controller, it's just a better shape of GameCube controller. Like it was just more standardized and like just made more sense.
I think
It's
it's
so
it's like a
good.
little bigger, probably because it had to
Yeah.
like include whatever like technology they used for the wireless part of it. But yeah, it did. It felt like it was the right size in your hand.
Also calling out like the old wireless Mad Catz controllers or like whatever third-party controllers. I remember suffering with those for a long time. We had a wireless NES like joystick controller. It was like the NES Advantage except it was wireless, and it had like a receiver that you plugged in, and like the infrared sensors on the receiver and the infrared sensor on the controller itself had to be like perfectly lined up or it wouldn't work. I remember being so close to the system that it was like, why not just have a cord? Why are we doing this to ourselves?
We had a lot of Mad Catz branded like GameCube controllers by the end of the GameCube's life.
You need a lot of GameCube controllers. Okay, Mark, we also have an email from Anthony, and I mean, buckle up. Anthony writes, "Hey guys, as promised, my pitch for an Animal Crossing musical that you guys completely overlooked. Here's a little backstory here. A couple months ago, we did an episode where we cast Animal Crossing and generally Nintendo characters, and then eventually ourselves in Broadway in Broadway musicals. Mark, what were we cast as Anna and Elsa, and we switched off nights?
We were, I think so. Yeah, we double cast ourselves.
Perfect. Here is Anthony's pitch. The show is Jimmy Buffett's Escape to Margaritaville. A short synopsis from the Wikipedia. The plot revolved around a part-time bartender and singer who falls in love with a career-minded tourist. Sounds like a perfect premise for a Jimmy Buffett musical. As for my proposed cast list, there are 6 main characters: Tully, Rachel, Brick, Tammy, Marley, and JD. Tully is the underachieving bartender / singer, and he would obviously be played by KK Slider. Rachel is the career-minded tourist because of her strong work ethic and dedication, even to her detriment. She would be played by Sable.
Mm-hmm.
That's the porcupine that can't stop sewing. If you try to talk to her, her sister's like, "Oh, please don't talk to my sister." Brick is Tully's best friend, a surfer who has acid flashbacks. He's played by my personal favorite, Pascal. Tammy is Rachel's doofy best friend, a general sweetheart. She'd be played by Isabel. Isabel is the perfect doofy best friend. Marley owns the bar where the story takes place. I feel like she'd be played by Joan, the turnip seller. JD is a grizzled old man who tells stories and talks about his buried treasure to anyone that would listen. That would be played by Cap'n. It was a super goofy but fun musical. One of the last things my girlfriend and I went to see before the pandemic hit. I hope this was worth the wait. Anthony, it was worth the wait.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well cast too. It made me a little bit sad reading that like, oh yeah, Joan's not in New Horizons, and neither is
Mm-hmm.
Cap'n. Like, just these characters that haven't shown up, or at least haven't shown up yet.
Yet, hopefully.
Yeah, maybe they're out there somewhere. All right, Mark, are you ready to get into what we've been playing?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, Mark, my quest to unlock Luigi in Super Mario Brothers 35 is ongoing. I texted you this weekend when I was on the brink of leveling up from 99 to 1 star.
It
Maybe not
seemed
even
like
on
you
the
were
brink. I said
so close.
I was so close. I did it, right? I pulled it off. I got to level 100, and then I started a new match, holding L the whole time because that's what the internet said. Hold L. And nothing. Mario. And I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to suicide and try it again. I remember seeing someone say, like, the timing is tricky. So, like,
Mhm.
whatever. I'm going to try it. Again, didn't work. Suicided Mario. And then I'm texting you, Mark, and I'm like, what's going on? This is a disaster. Where's my Luigi? I need to find out if this thing is real or not.
The
And
emojis are
then
getting more desperate.
they were, yes, yes, and thank you for being patient with me. And so I go to the internet again because that's where we had the information in the first place. And then the internet is like, oh, maybe what you need to do is have all the levels from Super Mario Brothers unlocked. And I was like, man, because the way to unlock levels in that game is either you have to play it, you have to play a level by someone else selecting it, and then it's sort of randomly coming up in your order, or if you finish a level, sometimes it will take you to the level immediately after it. So the way to get some of those like later in the game levels is to go for the most like the closest level you have to the end, and then you will beat that level, and then maybe it'll take you to the one after that. So those are the two ways to get them. And I have really been using 3-1 as my go-to forever because I like being able to start throwing Hammer Brothers at other people, and there are Hammer Brothers in that level. It's pretty easy to get through otherwise. So, needless to say, I haven't been gaining the last couple like 7 levels, like World 7 levels, and like 1 or 2 of the World 8 levels. So anyway, I still don't have all the levels unlocked. I do not have Luigi yet. I still can't confirm whether it's true or a myth, Mark.
It's insane. The internet seems to be saying that it is true, but we so far have no definitive proof. Like, and I have not done this. I don't know if you've done this. Like, if we have sought out on YouTube or anywhere to see if somebody has successfully followed all of the requirements and unlocked him. Although the internet can lie, so it's possible that those videos that are out there have been doctored. But Patrick cannot lie; he only speaks
That's
the
right.
truth. And
That's
so
right.
we need Patrick to independently verify this for us.
I mean, at this point, I am just such a paranoid person that I cannot rest until I know for sure by my own experience that it is something that we can actually do.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
totally fair.
Thank you. I've also I keep playing Hades. I love that game. We got an email that touches a little bit on Hades here from Christian. So we're gonna read that right now. Christian says, "Hey! I'm just wanting to write in. I'm all caught up on the episodes, and I keep thinking of things to say, but I listen to you guys while I'm working. So by the time I'm in the break room, I tend to forget what I wanted to say." That happens to us on mic in real time, so I'm sure we're with you 100%. Christian continues. Anyways, I've been playing Mario Sunshine with my fiance a lot lately. I'm glad to hear someone else is having a heck of a time with it because I'm not gonna lie, it's been my most frustrating time with Mario to date. The verticality of the levels is killing me. I'm around 28 shines or so, and I'm slowly dying every time I fall down into something. I've spent 10 to 15 minutes meticulously climbing. It's made twice as harsh by the fact that my fiance played it as a kid, so there's the, well, I beat this when I was 9 aspect of it. And I often have to remind myself that the game was made for literal children. Mark, you've been playing Super Mario Sunshine. There's more email here, and we will get back to it in a second. But how is your Mario Sunshine journey going?
Yeah, I beat it over the weekend. I got I think like 65 stars. So the way, or sorry, shines.
Thank
I
you.
guess yeah, I guess minor spoilers. I don't know, but basically like the way it's not the number of shines that you get in that lets you advance to the final level. It is you have to you have to get all the first 7 shines from each of the main levels, and then once
Oh,
you've gotten
interesting.
all of those shines, then you're like the final area opens up, which I had forgotten, and so I got like 60 something shines, and I was like, why is this not happening? So I had to go like look it up. But yeah, there are some that are so incredibly infuriating. Luckily, to get like the 7 that you need is generally not that bad. There are a few that are like really obnoxious, but for the most part, they're not too complex. It's a lot of like the other ones, like the optional shines that are
Yeah.
really, really like pull your hair out, infuriating.
I was looking up a bunch when I was playing. Partially because I was having Christian's experience of like climbing up a thing and then like falling down and being like, oh, am I actually meant to get to the top of this thing? Like, is that really what the game wants me to do? And then looking it up and the guide being like, yeah, yeah, that's what you got to do. Christian goes on to say, I've also been playing a lot of Hades. I just got far enough to unlock the gauntlet weapons. I don't have too much to say here other than to thank you for turning me onto it. It is genuinely a very fun and admittedly consuming game. Totally agree. I love Hades. I keep finding new new upgrade paths in there, like new things that I can do with the materials that I'm collecting. Like I just recently discovered that you can unlock new upgrades by spending keys in the mirror. Like I thought there were just these like 4 power-ups there, but you can spend like 5 keys and get like another 2, 10 keys and get another 2, 20 keys and get another 2. And so it's just like every time I go into it, every time I die and like start back over, I'm like, oh, here's another way I can improve myself before like starting out onto it again. Really, just a wonderful game. Might be my favorite game from this year. It might be my favorite game from this year. We'll have to see. We're getting close to the end of the year, so there's not a lot of time for that to change, I guess.
Have you had success? Like, have you made it through a successful run, or
I have made it to Hades
Mhm.
twice, but both times he has killed me. One time I didn't stand a chance, and the second time, like I was really getting him down. I had a good loadout. I had built up my Zagreus really well, but still got taken down. So no, I have not cleared a run yet.
next month, Sheer the Wanderer game is coming to Switch. I had played the DS one. I think this is the PSP game that I don't think was previously localized to the US, but I'm really excited for it. It's like the one roguelike that I ever was able to like really sink my teeth into. And so I'm
Yeah.
excited for that one because I feel like roguelikes, at least for me, are really hit or miss. And Sheer the Wanderer is like one of the few that has ever hit. And so I know what you mean, that like when you find one that really like
Yes.
speaks to you, it's a lot of fun.
Well, Mark, and again, look, I'm not going to try to push this game on you at all, but I just want to remind you that all the characters are babes. Like the art in this game, everyone is gorgeous. Everyone has the sexiest possible personalities. I went down a little bit of a fan art rabbit hole today, and like people are having fun with these characters, man. They're just great. It felt a little bit like when I was playing Detroit Become Human, and I was like, oh, I really like Connor and Detective Anderson. I want to see like what the internet thinks of this pairing of characters, and sure enough, the internet loves it. And that's a little bit more lewd than the Hades art is, but the Hades art is still super fun. Mark, staying on Super Mario Sunshine for a second, we also got an email from Ian, and Ian writes, "Hello, Patrick." I'm going to assume he also means and Mark.
No, no, I'll just wait silently
All
while
right.
you read through Ian's email.
Hello, Patrick. I would like to ask for your advice. I would like to know if I should get 3D All Stars, and if I do, which game should I play? Or which games should I play? Uh, Mark, I do need your help on this one. I think absolutely yes, right? Super Mario 3D All Stars is a collection of 3 wonderful games. And I would say, sort of depending on where your uh, nostalgia level is,
Totally.
start with play them backwards, right? Like play Galaxy first, because I think that is the most like complete bordering on modern game experience. And then when you've had your fill of that, then go back through the other two, which are both good games, but very much relics of their time, with a lot of the weird hangups of those times. But yeah, absolutely get 3D All Stars. It's great.
Yeah, I completely agree. I really don't know where the best way to start is. Like, I think what you're saying has a lot of merit. I do wonder though, if I started with Galaxy, would I be able to go back as easily to like Mario 64 and some of the more like frustrating aspects of that game and Sunshine? I don't know. It's one of the things about I haven't started playing Galaxy yet. One of the things that I thought was interesting about Mario 64 and Mario Sunshine and playing them basically back to back is that in my head, Mario kind of controls like one way. And then playing the games back to back, you realize like, no, that's not the case at all.
Yeah, they're
Like
different.
they're like fairly different. And it's not like it takes some like getting used to going back and forth. But I do agree with your point where it's like kind of where does like your nostalgia lie? And that's probably like your best entry point for the series.
Yeah, and if you've got no nostalgia for any of them, then like absolutely start with Galaxy.
Yeah.
And I think even if you just play Galaxy and then sort of enjoy the other two as like museum pieces or whatever, where you just mess around with them for a short time and don't like invest a ton of time, that it is still worth it and still like a really cool package.
Yeah, I could totally agree.
Let's see, Mark, what else you been playing this week?
Oh yeah, so I picked up Abzu, which is a game that it's been on my wish list for a while, and then I got one of those email from Nintendo being like, "Hey, this item that's on your wish list is on sale," and it is usually $19.99. It dropped to $199. It's on sale for $199 until November 19th. So this is a game from some of the same developers as Journey. This one you're like underwater, you're a diver underwater, and basically you're just like exploring the environment, interacting with different wildlife, kind of like loosely trying to figure out what is like happening under the ocean, but the story is really not, I would say, the main concern. It's just like really beautiful and relaxing, and I've turned to it just kind of as like like a tool for relaxation. There's even parts in the game where you like meditate, which basically means you're perched on a statue, and then you can toggle between the different like sea life in the area and just observe it.
Cool.
Have you ever seen, I can't remember if we talked about it, like Fantasia 2000?
Oh yeah, I've seen. I really like Fantasia 2000.
So the Firebird suite at the like the finale of it, and the kind of like triumphant moment at the end when the Earth spirit or whatever it is just like soaring through the wood and restoring life to it.
Yeah.
There are parts in Abzu where you're kind of caught in like a slipstream, and so it's not it's kind of on rails. You have a little bit of choice, but mostly it's just on rails, and like so you're just like jetting through the this like beautiful environment with amazing music, and it reminded me very much of that, like of the Firebird suite from Fantasia 2000, where it just feels like nice. It's just a nice game. I'm just like really enjoying just like hanging out in it, and for $2 it's totally worth it.
That's great. I had played a tiny bit of Abzu. I think it was free on PlayStation Plus or something a while back. So that's why it was in my library there. And there is some sort of like poison pill with games that you get for free with PlayStation Plus, where like I don't think I've ever played any of those games for more than like 20 minutes. I don't know what it is. It's just like knowing that you didn't choose it or pay for it makes it seem totally undesirable, and I really don't know why. But yeah, it's that your description now makes me think that I should go back and revisit it.
It's really short. Like I think the experience itself is probably just a couple of hours. But yeah, I'm really loving it.
Cool. So this is not a game that I've been playing, unless you want to count it as the game of trying to buy Nintendo stuff, which is occasionally the best part of the Nintendo game is trying to find a way to buy it. That was true of Amiibo. The best part about buying Amiibo is you have to play the game of can you get these Amiibo. I have successfully secured my copy of the Super Mario Brothers Game & Watch. I ordered it from the Nintendo website. It is being shipped to me currently. Despite the fact that it came out on Friday, it is not here yet. Nintendo is not Amazon, so they put it in UPS, and I've got a tracking number, and I don't know, it'll be here in like 10 days. I don't know. It'll be here when it gets here. But I'm very much looking forward to having that little thing. Because I've been playing so much Super Mario Brothers 35, I feel like I'm going to be a ninja at the original Super Mario Brothers as it appears on this game, or on the Game and Watch. So I'm very much looking forward to that thing finally making it here. And then also the last thing I've been playing this week, I'm playing more Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I'm not through it yet, but I've unlocked the 3 main characters and access to the Olimar like side story missions. It's fun. It's cute. I'm enjoying this game more than I ever did on the Wii U. So it was it a smart purchase? I don't know. Maybe not. I'm having fun with it though, and it's super cute. My gosh, Pikmin 3 is cute.
Yeah, and I feel like we don't there's no need to question whether it's like a smart purchase or not, because I cannot even count at this point the amount of times that like I have purchased a game and then for $60 and then played like an hour and then was like never picked it up ever again. So
yeah, I mean, I think it's okay to examine when that happens.
I choose not to, because
mistakes.
that means I would have to it would be hard to take tally of the amount of money I have spent on games that I have no intention of ever playing.
Well, look, I've spent money on a bunch of food that doesn't exist. All I did was eat it. Now it's gone.
I feel like those are not exactly the same thing.
I think they're exactly the same thing. All right, Mark, that's what we've been playing this week. Let's get into the new releases and what we might be playing next week.
Today, November 17th, Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate is released for Switch. This is, of course, Mortal Kombat 11, but with all of the DLC up to this point, including the, I'm reaching here, Aftermath DLC story content.
Yeah, you did it, Mark. Wow. Does this mean it also has all of the characters in it, too? Like, it's got Melina and Rambo and Terminator?
Yeah, I believe that is true. Yeah, I believe that is the case. And then, of course, on Friday, November 20th, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity is released on Switch. I'm really excited for this one.
Mm-hmm. So is this one you're going to pick up?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Excited to have that save data carry over from the demo?
Yeah, and mostly just excited to be back in the world of like Breath of the Wild and kind of seeing how deep it goes. I enjoyed the demo, but the demo itself didn't really like sell me on the game. I am just excited for more like Breath of the Wild ishness.
Yes, I love a word with two tacked on suffixes. All right, Mark, those are the new releases. Let's close this out. Now it's time for a regular segment on our show. It is time for 433. In 1952, American composer John Cage wrote a piece called 433, wherein a performer or group of performers did not play their instruments for 4 minutes and 33 seconds. For the purposes of this show, our instruments are talking about Nintendo. So, for the duration of one performance, 433, Mark and I will talk about something not at all Nintendo related, thus fulfilling the contract of the piece. Mark, we are embarking on what I believe to be a 2-part activity. We are going to be ranking fall activities. We do not currently have a list of fall activities, so here in part 1, we will be determining what the fall activities are, and then next week we will rank them.
Okay.
Yeah, go. What do you think is a good fall activity?
Okay. I'm gonna say I'm starting with raking leaves. I feel like an exercise like this is a little bit like Family Feud, where people are probably like, this is so, but also people are probably like, this one is so obvious. How are you possibly forgetting to include blank?
Well, here's the thing. We're not going to forget any of them. We're going to get them all right here and right now. And I know that because I'm going to say apple picking.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Thank you. Did you want to say anything about raking leaves? Is this also like raking leaves and then playing in the piles of leaves?
Yes, I think that's nice.
Okay. And then apple picking. My gosh, you go to an apple orchard, they give you a basket or like a bag that you have to fill with apples. That's a good time.
That is
Get some cider.
yeah, that's a good time. That's a good time. Are we including cider in here or no?
I think drinking cider has to go along with apple picking. I
Okay.
think that's okay.
I think
Right.
I think that's fair. Yeah, I think we'll rank those as one activity.
Right.
Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to say is a fun fall activity. I'm totally blanking. I'm choking here.
Oh no, we're
I
just two.
know.
Okay, I got one. So driving upstate to see the changing leaf color.
This is
Changing
nice.
leaves.
This is nice. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Observing the changing leaves.
That's right. Well, this has never been something that I've had to do, because I've mostly lived in a place where you could just see the leaves changing color, or in Southern California where I'm so far away from a leaf
you would
that
really
changes
have
color.
to drive
I
upstate.
would really have to drive upstate. So changing leaves. So that's one.
Um.
Now I don't think that like carving pumpkins or any of that. I don't think any of that.
No,
fits in here.
I think that's right out. But how about putting up holiday decorations? Does that count as a fall
Sure.
activity?
Sure. Well, because there are so many times that you have to do that in the fall, right? You have to do it for Thanksgiving. You got to do it for Halloween. Just in general, you got to put out some hay bales or something.
My
actually,
apartment is lousy with hay bales. Yeah.
This is something we all know. We all have to do it. But that's a good one. Is like some sort of hayride.
Yes.
And that sort of goes along with like a pumpkin patch. Right?
Yes, although interesting, I'm not objecting, but I will say that interesting that we are making a distinction between going to a pumpkin patch, which we will include, but carving pumpkins is right out.
Do not include. Look, that is for one holiday. That is just for the spooky season. A pumpkin patch, I feel like, is still kind of Thanksgiving-y.
Totally. Oh, sorry, I'm not to cut you off, but I have to get this one in before it's too late, before the applause comes. Baking, holiday baking. I'm including this as a fall activity.
That is perfect. Just holiday baking in general, or just because it is cool outside. You're like, you know what I can do? Turn the oven on.
Yeah,
I can turn the oven on. I'm gonna bake some bread.
Speaking of which, remembering how your heater works is another fall activity.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So just heater? I'm just putting heater. We're not gonna remember what that means next week. But yeah, A, remembering how your heater works, and B, like just biting the bullet, turning it on, and smelling the smell of it burning off the dust from the 8 months you didn't use it.
All those dead dust mites getting burned to a crisp.
Mark, I've got bad news for you. We still have like a minute to come up with fall activities.
Okay, all right. I feel like there are some like big ones we must clearly be missing. I know football. Yes, yeah.
Both watching and actually playing. I mean, football is a total fall thing. Should we put back to school on here? Is back to school a fall activity?
Do we have fall carnivals on here? Because I'm going to say no to back to school, but I'm saying yes to fall carnivals.
What is a fall carnival? Tell me on this.
Well, okay. My thought process is oh, darn it. Well, I'm going to tell you anyways. I think
good.
You said back to school, and I was debating in my head, but it jogged a memory of having like fall carnivals at school. And so that is why I'm proposing fall carnivals, where I otherwise would say no to back to school.
Okay, we'll put fall carnival in here. Carnival. And I'm also just going to put chili cook-off in here.
I'm all for it. I will ask, have either of us ever participated in a chili cook-off?
I have been to a chili cook-off.
Good enough.
But not participated. I mean, I ate the chili. So, I mean, that's participating in a way.
Yeah.
We were accompanied today by pianist Armin Fuchs. All right, Mark, let's get into the news.
Also, real fast, because this is a 2-week 433, if there's some real obvious fall activities that we missed, shoot us a note.
I mean, but also I assure you, we did not miss any. Yes, email us Nintendo Cartridge Society at gmail.com.
gmail.com. NPD, the NPD report for October, documenting the video game sales in the United States for the month, came out last week, and it contains more good news for Nintendo. 9 out of the top 20 games for the month were published by Nintendo, and that means Nintendo does not include digital sales. So digital sales are not counted for Nintendo where it is for some other companies.
Most other companies, everyone but Blizzard and Nintendo.
I wonder why Blizzard doesn't.
I don't know. I think it's part of what's happening with NPD is that it's not by unit, it is by dollar spent.
Right.
So I wonder if Blizzard wants to keep some of their because they're doing a lot of like microtransactions and stuff through WoW and Hearthstone and stuff like that. So maybe they want to keep that a little bit more proprietary.
Yeah, interesting. So speaking of having to buy revenue instead of like units sold, at number 5 was Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. Probably helped up there by the fact that it's $100 a pop.
Further helped out by the fact that it is only available physically, right? Like there is no way for those like hidden digital sales numbers to be not adding to a total here. You have to physically buy a cart in order to play this game.
Good point. At number 6 was Super Mario All-Stars, and it's the number 8 best-selling title for the year. At number 7, Animal Crossing New Horizons, which, by the way, is the second best-selling game of the year behind Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So, and that doesn't
an absolute
include
juggernaut.
Yeah,
an absolute juggernaut.
Doesn't include digital sales either, which Call of Duty does. At number 11 is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, which is the number 9 best-selling title for the year. Number 15 is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 16 is Ring Fit Adventure hanging in there. Number 17, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. That game has been out for over 4 years at this point. Super Mario Party at number 19, and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe at number 20.
Breath of the Wild has been out for almost 4 years. It'll be 4 years in March.
That checks
Agree.
out. That checks out. Yeah, yep, that checks out.
So I guess Ring Fit Adventure also doesn't benefit from the fact that digital sales wouldn't be included because you have to buy you can't buy it digitally.
Well, wait, we're saying it does benefit. It would not be
hurt
that's what I mean. By yes.
Yeah. Where the rest of these seem like they are the evidence suggests that they are artificially deflated numbers, even though they are high on this countdown. That is like the honest sell through of Ring Fit Adventures.
Yeah.
But also a little bit, it's $80 instead of $60.
Right.
So there's a lot. If we were weighting all of this, there would be a lot to take into consideration.
But we of course are not. October 2020 was also Nintendo's strongest October for Switch sales ever. They were up 136% from the same period last year. It's also the second highest October sales for any video game console ever, behind the Wii in 2008.
Wow. And that like the October 2008 is that like a year and no, I guess by October, like 2 years after the Wii came out?
Yep.
So yeah, like that thing sort of at the height of its powers, everyone buying one for grandma to play Wii Fit, or not Wii Fit so much as Wii Sports.
Yeah, and that also means that the Switch was the best-selling video, or has been the best-selling video game console for 23 consecutive months, which is a record.
Do you think that record is broken by November and the release of the two new consoles?
I think it's possible. I think it is a distinct possibility. Now, what happens in like December?
Right.
I would guess that like the Switch is again the best selling in December. But I would be surprised if like Sony and Microsoft didn't ship enough units to outsell the Switch in November.
Yeah, it would be funny if the Switch was back on top in December, just because they don't have anything new to like push sales of the console.
Yeah,
like
no, not really.
I mean, people picking it up for Pikmin, for Age of Calamity, for Fire Emblem? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I really think crazy as it sounds, like Animal Crossing will continue to be like
Yeah.
the holiday game. I was actually reading today that Microsoft was saying that they didn't expect like general availability of the new Xbox systems until April.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think like the new Xboxes in the PlayStation 5 are probably going to be like just supply limited for a long time.
Yeah. Which is something we knew as well, that like that was going to be the case, that they were going to be hard to come by. And pre-ordering for both of them was as difficult as pre-ordering any hardware is in 2020 or the last like couple years. I feel like it's been hard to get hardware, um, especially new hardware, for a long time now.
Yeah. Super Mario 3D All Stars was updated to version 1.1.0 yesterday. In addition to bringing inverted camera control options to all three games, and they had previously announced that part. In this update, Nintendo surprised everyone with including support for the GameCube controller in Super Mario Sunshine, which is pretty cool. It
That
is
is cool.
TV mode only, so you can't play it in handheld mode, which also means like the Switch Lite isn't supported, and it requires the GameCube controller adapter. But if you have a GameCube controller, you have one of the like re-released GameCube controllers that Nintendo put out for Smash Brothers Ultimate, you can play Super Mario Sunshine as it was originally developed with the analog controllers.
Um, Let me ask you this. So I know that outside of Super Smash Brothers, there are no other games that you can use the GameCube controllers on, even with the adapter. Um, this would be the first game outside of Smash Brothers that actually supports the GameCube controller.
Oh,
I-
interesting.
Do you think this is a like something they're going to start doing other, because like it would be handy for like Mario Kart, or there are a bunch of other games that could use a sort of standard Nintendo controller, if you, especially if you just have some lying around your house, in order like to play Smash with a bunch of people.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess like I for me what I hope it means is that like potentially we'll see future GameCube games brought to the Switch in some form that have, like the
Mm-hmm.
and that so this will continue to have like utility for those titles. One thing that's interesting about this is that and it makes sense, but basically like the in-game controls, like the display of the controls don't change when you have the GameCube
Right.
controller plugged in. So like the buttons don't change. The controls for like how you use Flood, they don't display any differently. Um, but it's like a neat little uh thing, like an additional thing for people who have like the GameCube
Yeah.
controllers. And I know that one of the complaints about Super Mario Sunshine is that it doesn't play as nice without the analog controls, the analog bumpers.
Yeah. That's cool. That is a cool little addition.
There's some Star Wars DLC coming to Minecraft, featuring settings and characters from the original trilogy, plus The Mandalorian. The new content is available now on all platforms. There was announcement a couple of weeks ago that Galaxy's Edge content was coming to The Sims 4. Galaxy's Edge, of course, being the like Star Wars land at Disney theme parks. Is there any game that's severely missing Star Wars content that should get DLC like this?
This is a question that I posed in our show notes here, because it is exciting to see Star Wars stuff coming to Minecraft. I like seeing Star Wars show up and stuff. I think it is funny that they are like the original trilogy and The Mandalorian. And that's
I
it.
know.
What's popular right now, and what's the legacy? That's all they're interested in exploring. But are there any games like specifically like Nintendo games that come to mind that would benefit from having a little Star Wars in them? Obviously, Smash. Got to get Darth Vader in Smash. Vader for Smash. Come on.
That feels so like, for whatever reason, like, yes, that was my immediate thought too, was like put him in Smash. But it's so funny because
Yeah.
like Star Wars has a video game legacy, but not like a really like strong one.
Yeah.
There's something about Vader and Smash that feels very Mortal Kombat 11 to me.
Sure. And not very Soul Calibur to you.
No, that's true. It would be very Soul Calibur. Which platform, the PlayStation 2, the Xbox, or the GameCube, would Darth Vader be the avatar for in Soul Calibur 2?
Well, he was the PlayStation one, right? Because Yoda was the Xbox,
Wait, what? No, no, no. I don't
and
think.
Link was. What do you mean?
Oh, it was Link
Yeah,
for
on the
GameCube. It was
GameCube,
Spawn
right?
for Xbox, and it
Oh,
was
Spawn. That's right.
oh man, I'm blanking on who it was for PlayStation 2.
Heihachi.
Oh yeah, probably.
There was
Basically,
one of them that had Star Wars Star Wars characters in it.
yeah. To answer your question, I don't know. It just like the mashup of like Disney and Nintendo feels wrong for some reason. The mashup of like Star Wars and Nintendo doesn't feel quite right either.
Well, going down that same path, what if a new like DLC pack for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 was Star Wars?
Ooh, that'd be fun.
There we go.
I could also see like a Pikmin type game, but with Jawas maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, this is these are all good ideas.
Was Monster Hunter Rise delayed before we ever heard about it? In an interview with Nikkei, Capcom president Haruhiro Sugimoto revealed that the COVID-19 pandemic caused development on Monster Hunter Rise to be suspended for a month and delaying the release to March 2021.
But of course, because we didn't know about the game while this delay was happening, and didn't have a release date, because you can't have a release date for something you don't know exists. We what was the game? Was it truly ever delayed? We
Yeah.
didn't experience the delay.
Yeah, does it count as a delay if it's just delayed internally? I
Right.
suppose so, but it affects us not at all.
That's right.
He also noted that pre-orders for the game are about where they expect them to be, and there are some reports that he said, and were that like they're expecting Monster Hunter Rise to sell as well as previous entries like Monster Hunter World. That was based on a translation that I think came from Nintendo Everything. A few other places were like saying that maybe that's not what he meant. Maybe he was just saying that they expected the performance of Rise to help like lift all boats on Monster Hunter, and so it would help improve
Sure.
sales on like other titles. So not 100% sure exactly what the translation works out to, but the long and short of it seems to be that they're feeling bullish on Monster Hunter Rise.
That's good. Yeah, I mean, it would be extra remarkable if he was like, "Oh yeah, we expect this thing to sell like Monster Hunter World," because that is a very good selling Monster Hunter game
On
like
on
the
multiple
best in the series.
platforms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of Capcom, Capcom was hit by a ransomware attack like a little while ago, and Capcom didn't pay, and so the hackers released a bunch of Capcom internal documents. I don't know how much we want to talk about it, because this stuff, I guess any of the leaks that we ever talk about are like ill-gotten, but one thing that we can say is that Capcom says that as many as 350,000 people potentially had their personal details exposed as part of the attack. There were some current and former employees that for sure they were able to verify that their information was taken, plus like potentially business partners and consumers. The part of the problem for Capcom right now is because the attack took some of their systems offline, they don't know for sure the scope of the breach, and so they are just saying like as many as 350,000 could have been affected. They're saying the credit card information was not part of the data that was taken, but I think more is going to be coming out of this for quite some time.
Yeah. So my stance is that I think we can. It's okay for us to talk about the fact that it happened. I think that's okay. I think saying that Capcom is still trying to get their hands around like the size and scope of the problem, that credit card information was not compromised. They think, or they believe, at least that's what they're saying. But the actual information about like games that are either being developed or were being developed, I don't want to talk about that. I'm sure that the information is out there and easy for other people to access, but I don't really want to give that any oxygen on this show unless you feel strongly in the opposite direction. But I feel like ransomware hackers, like, get out of here with that. Stop being jerks. This is obviously a company that you're interested in, that you like, that you want to get their information. Stop doing that. Be good to Capcom. They're good to you occasionally.
Yeah, I feel good about that. one and like apparently some of the stuff was like pre-COVID, so who knows how plans will change.
Right.
And we'll learn about it when we learn about it, if any of it turns into, if any of it comes to fruition anyways.
Right. Right.
Since the Microsoft acquisition of ZeniMax back in September, which includes like Bethesda, id Software, a bunch of other developers, there have been lots of questions, including from us, surrounding the future of games like Elder Scrolls on Sony and Nintendo platforms. Bethesda's particularly has been really good about publishing games recently on Switch. And so, questions are like, well, now that Microsoft owns them, what incentive do they have to let those games off of the Xbox platform? Xbox.
They've been good, but we still haven't seen Doom Eternal.
Yeah,
on-
that's
on
right.
Switch.
That's right. That's right.
They've been good.
Xbox Chief Financial Officer Tim Stewart is the latest Microsoft executive to offer comments on the topic, saying the following during the Jefferies Interactive Entertainment Conference last week. Quote, "The goal here is I'll say it from a cross-platform perspective, Microsoft is a platform. We're one of the first to really support Minecraft, Roadblock, Fortnite across platforms. So we highly encourage cross-platform play simply from this landscape of if it's good for the gaming ecosystem, it's good for us. Classic rising tide lifts all boats. What we'll do in the long run is we don't have intentions of just pulling all of the Bethesda content out of Sony or Nintendo or otherwise. But what we want is we want that content in the long run to be either first or better or best, or pick your differentiated experience on our platforms. We will want Bethesda content to show up the best as on our platforms."
Okay. All right. So sounds like he's looking at it in terms of uh still making stuff available multi-plat. But and this is kind of Microsoft's approach always, is like try to make it the best experience on their hardware or on their platform, which may not necessarily be on their hardware. Mark, what is Roadblock? What is Roadblock?
I have no idea.
I
have no idea.
I don't know that game at all.
I have absolutely no clue.
This is clearly transcribed from an interview where he is speaking, because like he's interrupting himself a little bit.
Yeah.
I wonder if Roadblock is Roadblock a game, or is it just something?
Or do you think
was he
it's like
reaching for something?
do you think it's Roblox?
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. Because like you're saying, it was transcribed from dictation.
Yeah.
I am skeptical of all these comments about like, oh, it's just going to be like we intend for it to be Microsoft first or Microsoft best. I just don't. It doesn't make sense to me as a first party acquisition otherwise.
So yeah, Roblox is definitely a game. I don't think Roadblock is a game.
Look, I mean,
what is he talking about?
I'm horribly out of touch on a lot of things. I think he probably said Roblox, and then whoever was transcribing it was like, had no idea what it was like us, and was like, I guess that was Roadblock.
Interesting. All of this stuff is so funny that like we're so early in Microsoft's purchase of ZeniMax and all of these game studios. And it is obviously a bunch of discrete studios with different marketing and publishing strategies that have had different priorities throughout the years, and then coming into Microsoft, which has also had different priorities throughout the years. So it's just like, no, it is going to take them forever to land on a specific strategy. We may not even really see like the fruits of this for like 4 or 5 years. Like that Deathloop game is still going to come out on PlayStation and exclusively, or at least first. We will still get Doom Eternal at some point on Switch, I believe. And like we'll maybe see something take form, but it'll be years from now.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I think like I'm sure they have like a strategy or philosophy that they're going into these conversations with, but I think an acquisition of this size is going to take a long time to shake out. And no matter what their intentions are today, like who knows, like you're saying, what is going to be the reality of it in 6 months.
Right. And I mean, also like ZeniMax, and especially Bethesda, has games that are so like far out. Like there's that, is it called Starscape? or like Elder
Starfield, I think.
Starfield, and Skyrim or the
Yeah,
Elder
whatever the
Scrolls
next Elder
6.
Scrolls game is. Yeah.
Yeah. Like all of that is still so far away, and they've been developing it for so long, that like I'm sure they want to maximize the number of things that they can sell it on, and not want to gate it to just Xbox consoles. So like, yeah, I I think we will see it in the future, when Microsoft is like more clearly controlling the brand, but like we're just nowhere near that now.
Yeah. Finally, it appears that Pokemon branded cereal is back, baby.
Oh
As
yeah.
spotted on Twitter,
Wha-
a new Pokemon cereal from General Mills is beginning to appear on store shelves. Apparently, it's been like decades since a Pokemon cereal existed, even though it feels like something that should just exist in perpetuity since the 90s. But no,
Yeah.
apparently not.
Thank you for the added context. I was like, when was there a Pokemon cereal? Have you had this cereal before, Mark?
No, I haven't. But for me, it's like seeing this reminds me of like that Super Mario Brothers cereal that we
Yeah.
got just a couple of years ago, which was another thing that like, oh, there's Super Mario cereal, but why was there not always Super Mario cereal?
Well, there was Super Mario Brothers cereal for a while, right? It was the remember it was like the split box where it was like half Mario and half Zelda.
Yeah, it was supposed to kind of look like a NES box.
Yeah, but also like that's not a feature of NES boxes. Is that like, oh, this one has two games in it, and if it is, it should be Mario and Duck Hunt. Someone dropped the ball there. Okay, so Mark, it looks like it's sort of Trix esque, right?
Yeah, I think that's right, which follows because I think Trix is also a General Mills cereal.
Yeah, that makes sense. Is this a cereal that you would like to seek out? Where are you with your cereal consumption these days?
High.
Um,
My cereal consumption is high, and I actually think that work from home has, or just like being at home all the time,
yeah,
has increased cereal consumption. It has become like a nightly thing to the point that where when I do not eat it before going to bed, my husband is like, "Are you not having cereal tonight?" So some might say it is at a problematic level. I am not among them. I would love to have Pokemon
right,
cereal if the
right.
opportunity arose.
Mark, you got to make your own opportunities. Are you? I'm gonna nail you down right now. Are you going to buy a box of Pokemon cereal?
I think this is like Super Mario cereal where I'm not going to seek it out. But how did we get it last time? Did you stumble
Yeah,
upon
I
it and
saw
buy
it.
boxes
Well,
for like us?
yes,
Yeah.
I was at the grocery store, which is not something I do anymore. And I saw that there was Mario cereal, and that there was like a limit on the number of boxes you could buy,
Wow.
which is insanity. Like, why? The world we live in is so strange. But yeah, I mean, I will not be in a location where I can pick up boxes of Pokemon cereal. Um, but I'll see about adding it to a future Instacart order.
Yeah. Well, luckily the Pokemon cereal clearly comes in family size, which is just the right
That's good.
size for one adult me. So
All right, Mark, let's get out of the news. Okay, that is going to do it for this episode of Nintendo Cartridge Society. Remember, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. If you like the episode, please share it on Facebook or Twitter. We like it when you do that. That's how other people get to know us, and they have the good time that you have been having for, I don't know, maybe upwards of 4 years. It could be that you've been having a good time with us for 4 years. We've been around for so long. You can follow us on Twitter. I'm at Patrick_Ellers. Mark is at MKE Mitchell, and the show is at Nin Cart Society. We also have a Facebook page, which is just Nintendo Cartridge Society. Olivia Duncan made our logo. Our theme music is provided by 8 Betty. You can get more of his music by going to 8bitbetty.com or by listening right now. For my co-host, Mark Mitchell, this is Patrick Ellers saying you could put Chewbacca in Fire Emblem Three Houses. He would be fun to romance. Thank you for listening.
Hi, I'm Michelle Varay.
And I'm Kimberly Trong, and we are the host of Crush Fictionally, a podcast all about your favorite fictional characters from movies, TV shows, and more.
Each episode, we pick a theme, curate a list of characters that we love, why we love them, and some fun facts about the people who created them.
So if you've ever felt a true connection with a fictional character,
tune in to Crush Fictionally on Campfire Media.
Or wherever you find your podcast.
Campfire.